Well, President's Day is here, but how much do you really know about it?
Yeah, today our favorite celebrity historian, Rafi Andonian, is joining us for a fun little game of fact or fiction.
We're ready.
So you're going to test our presidential knowledge, right?
Let's do it.
All right, well, hit us.
Yeah. What's the first
yeah.
one? You have a
first
statement,
one.
and we have
Yes,
to decide whether
that's
it's
right.
fact
Yeah,
or
yeah,
fiction.
yeah.
So the first statement is Zachary Taylor lived here in the NWA.
Okay, lived in Northwest Arkansas.
I knew we should have Googled these questions beforehand
We
because
should.
everything I want to say is, I don't believe it.
I don't. Let's believe this one.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so
Fact.
It is true. Here is President Zachary Taylor on the silver coin. He did live in Northwest Arkansas at Fort Smith. He ran Fort Smith, but he was not president at the time. This is just before he was president. Not very popular with the locals because he wanted to shut down the fort and they were going to lose business because of it, including selling whiskey. The whiskey makers were not very happy. But funny enough, to the point where the locals wrote to the president at the time complaining about Zachary Taylor. But guess what? A few years later, Zachary Taylor became himself United States president.
wow. Okay.
Oh, Zachy T.
Oh, Zachy T.
They
he
didn't
did
like
it.
him.
Okay, what do you got?
All right,
Second
next one.
Yes.
After the election of 1876, nobody knew who was president just 2 days before the inauguration.
The old election of 1876.
Yes, everybody knows that one.
Easy. That's. Let me read the question because he asked it, and
You
I'm
were
like,
too busy thinking of your response.
I don't know.
I have a
don't
feeling
know.
he's going to trick us and say it was 3 days before inauguration or something silly
I
like
think
that.
I'm gonna let you take the
You wanna-
lead
all
on
right,
this
so let's
one.
do fiction. I know you took your hat off and everything. You're exhausted of this.
No, it is a fact.
It's a fact.
It's a
Oh, you
fact. Here's
tricked
Rutherford
us.
B. Hayes. Now, here's what's funny about that is inauguration then was on March 4th, not in January.
Wow.
All the
Oh.
way in March. So
Okay.
4 months after the election, we still didn't know who was elected. And it was a huge problem because you had Samuel Tilden, who was a Democratic candidate, had won the popular vote. He needed one more electoral vote to get elected. He lost the remaining 19 electoral votes in contested states. The election went to Congress. Congress couldn't figure it out. Constitution didn't have guidance. It went to a committee. The committee couldn't figure it out. And it got to the point where they made a deal, the famous compromise of 1877, where the Democrats said, we'll let you have the presidency, Rutherford B. Hayes, who's a Republican. And Hayes said in return, we will back off Reconstruction after the Civil War as a famous compromise.
Okay.
But some still never accepted him, and his presidency was known as his fraudulency, believe it or
wow.
not,
His
as a result of
fraudulency.
the election. That's
All right,
right.
Rafi, we got about a minute and a half left, so
All
let's
right.
try to fly through these next ones.
Grover
you have.
Cleveland ran twice for president and won one non-consecutive terms.
What do you think?
I don't.
Fact.
It is fiction. He ran 3.5 times, I would say. He won, he lost, he
gave
came
up.
back, he won again against the incumbent, and then he ran kind of shadow campaign with a third party. So I would say he ran 3.5 times, Grover Cleveland, but he won 2 non-consecutive terms. That part is true, but he ran 3.5 times.
He
Okay.
ran more times
Yeah.
than what your
All right.
By the way, he
statement had.
vetoed more than 400 bills during his first presidency, believe
Wow.
it
He
or
was
not.
ready to
One out
get
of
to
every
work.
6 veto ever was done by Grover Cleveland.
Wow.
right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. All right, this is going to be the last one.
Last
Rafi,
one.
So
Last
give us the
one,
last
Dustin.
Harry
one.
Truman from bordering southwest Missouri was the first U.S. president to visit Arkansas while in office.
I don't even know how to guess.
I mean, he's
this,
from just up the road,
honestly.
right?
You know what? I don't want to say that he was. I feel like it's fiction.
You think
I
it's
think
fiction?
you're-
All right,
yeah.
buzz it in.
Fiction.
It is fiction.
Ah.
First one was Benjamin Harrison, the guy Grover Cleveland lost to in between his his 2 terms. First one in office was Benjamin Harrison. U.S. Grant had come here and possibly Martin Van Buren, but that was after their presidency. Truman later did visit here, but he wasn't the first one. Benjamin Harrison was the first one to come here while he was in office in Arkansas.
Man,
Benny
thanks for
Harris.
hanging out with us and bringing us some knowledge
Yeah.
for Fact or Fiction on President's Day. We appreciate you always joining us, right?
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Rafi.
Absolutely, yeah.